tatta dhim tatakita dhim tadim tattam. Welcome to my channel. My name is Padma, and on this channel I share with you the dance and philosophy from ancient goddess tradition from my culture, which is India. My aim, my desire, my wish in sharing these practices is to support you in an embodied spiritual practice, a body-led way of living that helps us to be connected to ourselves, to our own divinity, and through that to the divinity in nature and in life all around us. And in these past few weeks, I have been sharing practices from the world of Shiva, because Shiva is very much the archetypal energy of the times that we live in. These times of churning and turbulence, when lots of things are uprooted, when lots of things come up from the depths and are revealed, when places and people that we thought we could trust or that we looked for our security are sometimes proven to be hollow, or sometimes we have to reconsider our own sources of security and comfort. So these are times when all of these things are part of this churn. And this is very much Shiva's world. It's very much Shiva's dance, which invites us in different ways. And it's such a rich practice because it's multidimensional, because reality is multidimensional. We all know that. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. Reality is multidimensional. Each one of us are living in this reality in our own unique ways. So Shiva's world is very rich and very multidimensional. And I have been sharing with you some of the practices from his world, from his very generous world, and Shiva's invitation to us in the way that he appears in the energy of the times is to say, I'm here with you and I can support you to find the energy and presence and passion even in the churn, even in the turbulence, that we can come to our energy and presence, and through that we can find a movement and a flow. It's not about finding solutions or answers. It's just about not being paralyzed, not being apathetic, not despairing, but finding a way of flowing and moving in amidst all of the churn and turbulence. And today I want to share with you a practice from the Aghora Bhairava aspect of Shiva, which is fear and fearsomeness. So this flow between fear and fearsomeness. So this Aghora, the word literally means beyond the lens of terror. So always means something that you don't, it's not just not being in terror, it's not the opposite of terror or fear, but it's like dissolving that lens. So you're not having that lens at all. And the practice here is very nuanced, because it's not about opposing fear by finding a story about courage and then trying to overcome the fear, but this is about an inquiry into fear itself. And we are going to do this through the archetype of Aghora Bhairava, which is a very fearsome, powerful archetype. So when you do this, it's really important to approach this through these archetypes so that we're not really going into our own personal stories and looking at it in that form of therapy or psychology. So this is a very different kind of inquiry. It's much more of a philosophical and spiritual inquiry. And so we do that by moving into ritual formats or archetypal formats, as we're going to do now. So I'm going to invite you to join in this practice, where we're going to start with this archetype of Aghora Bhairava, this terrifying, powerful, fearsome deity. And then we are going to put a couple of attributes of fear within that archetype. And then we will see how it's fear that makes something fearsome, and then the fearsomeness flows back into fear. So there is this movement from fear into fearsomeness, and there is an energy that comes when we unlock that flow. There is an absolutely powerful energy that comes when we unlock that flow. So please join me. We start with the basic position of this deity, Aghora Bhairava, which is this, like I said, this rather fearsome, terrifying form of Shiva. So we have our feet wide in a martial stance, really grounded. The chest is raised and open, chin is down, body is nice and expansive. It's like you take space. And now we really set our face, which is a very important aspect of this particular form. So the mouth is wide and it's like you've got fangs. Your nostrils are flared if you can, and the eyes are, and the hands are like claws. Now, Aghora Bhairava is covered in snakes because it's the snake. When the snake is in fear, it becomes very fearsome. It strikes. So, and now we're going to add a couple of attributes of fear here. So the first thing we're going to do as Aghora Bhairava is when you tremble in fear. And use that on the balls of the feet, but we bring that here. You know, when you tremble, it's like you're trembling in your guts, trembling in your depths, your breath. And the next attribute of fear we're going to do is alarm. So you're shocked or you're taken by surprise. Now, if you are Aghora Bhairava, you're like the snake. You're ready to strike when you're alarmed. And the trembling. And now, the last, we're going to go to that striking. So just like the snake, when it's alarmed, it strikes. So we're going to pierce with the trident, which is one of the weapons of Aghora Bhairava. So let's add that here. And the trembling. So I hope you can sense how this movement happens. The fear is what makes things fearsome. When we are afraid of something, that becomes very fearsome. And what is fearsome feeds back into this fear. So it's almost like the fearsomeness is infused by the fear. And the fearsomeness unleashes the energy. You know, when you are afraid and you become fearsome, like a snake that strikes, or like the Aghora who pierces with the trident, then there is this energy and movement that happens out of that flow. So these things are really difficult to approach with the logic of the mind, because the logic of the body, the logic of sensation, which is the whole Rasa philosophy in the goddess tradition, is not of the mind. It's not the same as the logic of the mind. When we move into the world of sensation and body, there are very unexpected connections. The dots join in all sorts of places where you cannot even find those connections through the mind. And so I always invite you, just drop into the body for these practices, because we can't work these things out through the mind. So I hope that you will find some movement and some flow when you feel like you are having a lot of this fear energy all around you. And if you do practice, I'd love to hear how you felt about this Aghora Bhairava, and I'd love to hear from you. I hope to see you back here again next week. Thank you.